Good morning, everybody. Am I audible? So, are you able to hear me now? I am broadcasting my screen and I am also talking using my microphone. Now, since this is a webinar, to avoid a lot of static noise in the background, I have muted the participants. But then, if you want to ask me a question, you can type it through the webinar here. So, the webinar has interface for you to interact with me. So, you can use that to ask your question. So let's go ahead. So I'm going to talk about getting work from freelancing sites. So very quickly, am I audible? I see about 24 people online. So maybe a few of you can respond to confirm that you are able to hear me. So am I audible to all of you? All right. So I think here we go. So let's get started. So I'm going to talk about getting work done or getting work from freelancing sites. So what is that I'm going to cover in this session today? So I'm going to talk a little bit about freelancing, not too much, but then I'm just going to talk about the concept. I'm going to talk about selling your services, some of the important steps involved in selling the services. I will talk about why use freelancing sites, and then I'll talk about some of the popular sites that are useful for freelancing. So let's go ahead. Now, before I get started, very quickly, my name is MAKARAND Pandit. Some people also call me Mac. I've got experience of working as a technical writer, editor, trainer of more than about 20 years. I think about 21, 22 years now. I have written several books and manuals as a technical writer. I have also directed, edited, and published a number of training videos, audios. I have published several articles, some research papers, some white papers as well. I have also worked as a member of a community, so and visiting faculty with a number of institutions, including University of Pune, including IIT Powai, and a lot of other universities in Pune, including Symbiosis, and with many colleges as well. So today I'm going to talk about freelancing. Now, before I get started, let me mention here that I have already talked about freelancing as a concept in detail. So today my focus is not going to be about freelancing as a concept because I think I've already talked a lot about it. By the end of this particular session, I will give you the information about where you can find the recording of that. So you can refer to that. But then I just wanted to get started with what freelancing is. So freelancing is where you are working on your own. Essentially means that you are the owner of this small enterprise of yours. It works based on your efforts. You are the one who's going to take the risk. You are the one who's going to make the money and the earning that's going to happen. Now, there are a number of advantages that freelancing offers, and there are quite a few disadvantages also. Anybody getting into it without really fully comprehending the advantages or disadvantages is likely to be mistaken and is likely to waste a lot of time and money. So the biggest advantage of freelancing, I think, is freedom. That's the biggest advantage. Now, if you don't know how to utilize your freedom, or then if you are not able to appreciate freedom, if you don't know what you are going to do in the additional time that you are going to get, and so on and so forth, I think freelancing may not be useful for you. So freedom is the biggest differentiating factor, and I think it covers every other disadvantage that I have mentioned here on the slide. So freedom is the biggest advantage. There are many others. So time flexibility. So you can work maybe part time, you can work full time on a day. If you want, you can work for, let's say, 18 hours, 20 hours. Some other day you can simply take a leave. You will be able to get income from freelancing maybe in addition to your existing income. So maybe you are already making some income as a salary, so on top of that you'll get some more income. So freelancing can also be done even while you are doing a job. Now, a note of caution here is talk to your employer and make sure that your contract uh, does not prohibit you from doing freelancing. Some organizations do include terms like that in their contracts, so just check it out once. But I think in most cases, if you are doing something that does not conflict with their business interest, they'll not have any problem with it. Skill development, I think, is the second biggest advantage. That is, you'll, as a freelancer, you'll probably end up developing a lot of skills which otherwise would not have got developed. So freelancing goes very close to doing business. So I think a lot of skill development happens there. So you'll need to talk to a lot of people. You'll need to talk to vendors. You'll need to talk to customers. So your communication skills, your presentation skills, your management skills will improve to a great extent. Many of the skills that will improve through freelancing may also be useful in your job. So all the skill development that happens, you are probably going to get benefit from that in your real life job. Freelancing may give you a lot of respect. So, I mean, obviously, it's better to make money than not making any, and it's obviously better to make some additional money as well. So, if you are working as a freelancer, you'll probably get respect within your team, maybe in front of your colleagues, in within your family, and so on and so forth. Now, depending on how you are making and how you are showing that income for tax purposes, there may be some tax benefits that you'll get. Now, since this session is not about accounting, it's not about tax returns and so on, I won't talk much about it today. You'll obviously get better exposure because as a freelancer, you could be working on different types of projects, different depth of project, altogether different subjects and so on. So obviously it will increase your exposure. It will help you build a professional network, maybe network of clients, network with other freelancers, network with vendors and so on and so forth. A lot of people get a lot of satisfaction out of freelancing. So let's say if you are working as a technical writer, but then you know a foreign language, you can do some freelancing uh, as a foreign language expert, or you can do some translation or localization projects, and that will probably give you some satisfaction that that additional skill set that you have is being put to use, and moreover that skill will continue to get updated because you are doing something there. Now, freelancing can also be fun. So, while working on a lot of projects, I think I've learned a lot and I think I had a lot of fun. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are a few disadvantages also. The first and the most difficult thing to cope with is variable income. So, if you are working as a freelancer and if your income only depends on freelancing, you're not having any other source of income, then better get used to the variable income. So, there could be a month where your income could be zero. There could be a month where your income could be three times the salary that you used to earn, and then managing that fluctuation in itself could be a challenge. Lack of job security. As it is, I think in today's world, there is nothing called as job security, but then few people do have that notion. So I think that notion is probably not applicable to freelancing because you are going to do projects for a particular company. Once the project is over, you move on, they move on. Administrative work. So when you are working all by yourself, I think you'll probably be doing a lot of administrative work yourself, like making or depositing your checks in the bank, withdrawing money, taking backup of your own work, doing your filing work. Your invoices have to be prepared, sent, filed. The payments will have to be followed up, and so on and so forth. So it may actually give you some additional headache, which will be full time. So you may have to be ready to reply to clients' emails, phone calls, and so on. And they could really come at very odd timings, even during your vacation and so on. So if you are working as a freelancer, you cannot say I'm on a vacation, so talk to somebody else because you are the only person to talk to. I think they would want to reach you wherever you are. Now, sometimes if you do not really manage your income properly, if you do not really manage your time properly, this may lead to burnout. Now, I'm not trying to say that burnout is only possible in freelancing. There are a lot of jobs also which lead to burnout. So I think many of the disadvantages that I've mentioned here would probably also be there in your employment or job or a contract. If you are working as a freelancer, you'll probably not get paid leaves. You will definitely not get benefits and perks from a company. But yes, you can buy yourself the benefits and perks and so on. So you'll have to buy yourself an insurance policy, a medical claim policy. You'll have to keep aside a few days for training yourself. You'll have to keep aside a few days for taking a vacation with your family and so on. And most importantly, freelancing may involve some initial investment. So you may have to invest in computer, you may have to invest in a printer, modem, Wi-Fi connection, and so on and so forth. Now, fortunately, many of these things have become so common that I think all of you are joining today through GoToWebinar. So I'm sure all of you already have a computer or you have access to a computer somewhere. So the bare minimum investment that is needed, I don't think is very heavy. So I think this is quite doable. So let's go ahead and we'll go to slide number 5. So I'm showing you a freelancing roadmap here. So you see a number of steps here. So first of all, you'll need to create your work setup. You'll need to prepare yourself to work on projects. Maybe you'll think about starting a company of your own. And here, of course, you have got a number of choices. So you can start it as a proprietary concern. You can make it a private limited company or a partnership company and so on. Now, some of these points I've already touched upon when I talked about freelancing, and that was a very long session, I think slightly more than an hour. And recording of that is available on my YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and if you search for freelance, go to YouTube and search for Technowrites. So on the Technowrites channel, you'll at least see something like 50 videos. You'll find that many of these videos are still useful to you in terms of technical writing also. But then I've got a lot of videos there which will help you with freelancing as well. So create your own website, create your own portfolio. I think that's going to be very important. So once again, for creating a website, your own website, and for creating your portfolio, you can refer to my sessions which have already been delivered as webinars. And then I have got a more concise recordings of both those sessions also available on my YouTube channel. So I think both these sessions, that is create your own website and create your own portfolio, they are both available as a video recording of about 22 to 25 minutes. Once again, available on the same YouTube channel, the Technowrites YouTube channel. Once you have done that, you'll start getting projects. Once you get a project, you'll need to prepare an estimate, give a quotation. Once the work is done, maybe give an invoice, complete the project handover, and so on. Now, if you are really serious about taking freelancing ahead as a serious option, you may want to think about a freelancing course that Technowrites offers. But I'm not going to talk about that over here. So let's just go ahead to the next slide. So very important steps in getting project, and this is where I think this is probably the most fundamental concept of our presentation today is how do you get projects. So when you are going to get projects, we are talking about a number of activities. So there is something that we call as cold calling. Now, some of you may know that I have done my post graduation in marketing management, and cold calling is a typical marketing terminology. So it means that you don't know whether somebody needs your services. You just go to that person, approach that person, his office or whatever, and tell that person that I'm available to do so and so type of work. That's what we call as cold calling. The percentage of cold calling or the success percentage of cold calling is typically very less. But then I still have to admit that a number of my clients have actually come through cold calling. You'll obviously have to use all other ways of getting projects or making yourself known. So one popular way of doing that could be advertising or could be networking. So you should be on networks, let's say networks like STC India chapter. Go and meet people during the city meetings, conferences, talk to people, let your customers know that you are there. Let your hiring managers know that you are working as a freelancer and you are available to do work. So you this comes under promotion, so advertising and promotion. So it comes under promotion. Then prospecting. Prospecting is when you know a particular company is in need of the service that you are offering. Then approach that company and say that you will be able to provide so and so service. Then maybe give a presentation about yourself, your services, the work that you have done in the past, and so on. This will take you to discussing the scope of work that the company has, and based on that discussion, you may want to give a sample work or what we call as proof of concept. So that's why you see POC mentioned there in the bracket. After that, you'll probably have a cycle of negotiation, and after that, you'll probably go to service delivery and payment. So I've mentioned that over here, though these 2 points are not a part of getting projects. So that's why I've mentioned them separately. So after negotiation, you are going to actually perform the or offer the services that you wanted to provide, and then get your work done, get a sign off, and get your payment. Let's go to the next slide. Now, why do we use freelancing sites? So I mentioned to you that there are several steps of getting projects. So all the steps that you have seen here, cold calling, advertising, prospecting, and so on. Now, all these steps that you see here can be taken care of by a freelancing site. So freelancing sites are like marketplace. There are lots of customers over there. There are lots of suppliers over there, but then a lot of work is also there. So just like you go to a mall or you go to a vegetable market. So in the vegetable market, you won't find only one vendor, but you'll actually find a lot of vendors selling the same vegetable. But then you have the option of buying from any one of them. Maybe they vary in terms of quality of vegetables, maybe in terms of the service that they are going to give you as vendors, maybe in terms of the quantity that they can deliver, or in terms of the range that they can deliver. So obviously you will not want to go to a different vegetable vendor for every different vegetable. So you are going to go to one who can probably give almost or everything that you want. So it's a marketplace. So in a marketplace, there are hundreds of vendors, there are hundreds of customers, and a lot of transactions are happening, a lot of money is being exchanged. A freelancing website offers you a ready to use setup. So yes, you can create your own website, but then the challenge is going to be how do you get people to your website. So a freelancing marketplace already has got a lot of customers. So it's like you are going to the marketplace and you are starting a little shop of your own. Infrastructure is already there. They have the customer reach, they have the market presence, they have been there for years. Some of them have been there for decades. So, which means that a lot of customers are already buying there, a lot of vendors are already selling there. And they use what we call as a crowdsourcing model, which means there could be a customer who may decide to get some piece of work done from you. So he may hire your writing services, my editing services, somebody else's translation or localization services, and so on and so forth. So he may not really work with one client, one vendor. There are a number of opportunities being created by internet, and I think this is one of them. So earlier I remember I used to have my brochures in my bag. I would go and meet customers. I would go to industrial areas. I'll go to commercial establishments and tell them that I am so and so, and I have I have approached them for a so and so type of work. There even have been cases that I have been I have been asked to leave. In one particular organization, they even call the security to make sure that I leave their organization because they were simply not able to understand the service that I was offering. Now, all these things can be bypassed totally. You do not have to do your groundwork. You do not have to go out there on the field. You can find your customer on the net. You can do the work on the net and you can get paid on the net. So, which means you're not going out, you're not spending time in traveling, giving presentations, and so on and so forth. So let's go to the next slide. Now, how does a customer use your service? So, the buying process for customer. So, customer creates a profile and then searches for vendors or suppliers like you. Now, based on what requirement he has posted, he'll receive multiple quotes. Sometimes they are also called as bids. Bid means you are bidding. So there could be a number of people submitting the bid, and then he may do a careful evaluation of all the options that he is going to get, and then have discussions with the probable vendors that you would like to develop, take decisions, give them work, get the work done, and make the payment. So this is how it works for the customer. Now, once again, the customer has the advantage that he doesn't have to go anywhere. He doesn't have to leave his office. he can get his work done right from his office, and he doesn't have to go around look for people, because that's where a lot of time is being spent. Now let's look at how the process will be for you as a vendor. So as a freelancer, you should have a portfolio. You should definitely have a portfolio. I've talked about it in my portfolio presentation, but I'm just sort of making the point here again that your portfolio should include your LinkedIn profile. It should include a blog, and it should also include your portfolio on a marketplace, that is a website like Elance. I mean, these are the things that we are talking about today. So you'll have to register as a service provider. You'll have to create your profile, your portfolio, maybe samples of your work you'll have to put there. You search for projects. So one is the customer could approach you, or then you could go online and see what kind of projects are available out there. For many projects, there could be a deadline mentioned, and you can go by that as well. You'll see some scope of work being mentioned there. Now you look at what is that somebody wants to get done, and based on that, you can provide a estimate or a quotation saying that this is how much I'll charge. You may be asked to give a sample of work, and this should be a part of your portfolio. Now, once that sample is approved, you'll go ahead and do the work. You deliver the work to the customer, and then you get paid. So this is a selling process. And the best part of these websites is that the buying process as well as the selling process, they are both happening online. So there are a number of facilities that the freelancing sites provide, and I have listed some of them here. So they allow you to create your profile, which is, upload your resume, upload your samples. You can have customer testimonials. So let's say you have already done 5 successful projects for customers, and some of them are ready to give you a testimonial, and you can put that on your site, and then new customers will be glad to see that you already done good work for somebody else. Collection and disbursement of payment can be done by the site. So Elance does that. So you don't really get paid directly from the customer. The customer pays to that particular site, and then the site makes the payment to you. Many sites will also allow you to have a chat online with your customers, so you can have discussions. It's not necessary that you'll have interaction only through emails. You can have interaction through chat, or if you have got a phone number, you can even talk to that customer. So all the information exchange can happen, and if you are having important information being captured as a part of chat, all those chat entries can be saved, and they can be used to resolve any disputes. So it's like if the client has agreed to pay you X amount of money, and now he's paying you less, then you can request for a resolution of the dispute, saying that all this has already been captured in the chat that we had. Now, depending on the revenue model, there may be charges that will get added, and this will really vary from site to site. So there are different sites, and different sites provide you different services at different prices. Now, these are some of those sites, which is Elance, which is now merged with Odesk, Freelancer, TrueLance, Work and Hire, and so on and so forth. Now, this is where I'm going to pause my presentation a bit, and I'll see if I can open those pages for you. So let's do that. So here are the sites, and I think Elance is here. So I think Elance is probably the best site, Harish, and I think I'm answering your question that I see in the chat window here. So Elance is a very popular site, so people can find people like us freelancers, or then you can go there and say, okay, I want to find job. So I want to, and then you can go ahead and choose the categories here. So you can say, okay, let's go to writing. And so you see a number of options here. So they say so many things are available. So let's go ahead and click on those. So you can see here that people are putting their portfolio here. So this gentleman here is saying that he'll be able to do so and so things. So there's some information about him, and his portfolio includes. I mean, he has put skills like technical writing and so on. Now you can even see the hourly rate that he has quoted. So he has quoted $14. There's somebody here who has quoted $23, and so on. So I think lot of options available here, and let's go ahead. So this is a second website, which is iWriter, and I really hope that you are writing these names down. So iWriter is another freelancing website, so you can go there, get a lot of work from there. You also have work and hire. So once again, another freelancing sites. Then there is freelancer.in or .com. I think when you access the Indian site, it's freelancer.in, right? So you want to get work, so you can click on work. Now you'll have to register there to see what is available, and you can register with Facebook or anything else, and then you can look at the work, and then you can quote for it. Or then true answer is also there. So here you can say, okay, let's see if we can see something in this. So let's say find projects. All right, so he'll ask you to log in. So obviously you'll have to register with each of those sites in order to see the details that they have. What I have done is I've already gone through these sites, and I've prepared some sort of a comparison chart for you. Before I go to that, let me talk a little bit about one of these sites, because each one of them is quite elaborate. So let me just talk about one of them. So we are talking about elance here, and I can share these slides with you if you want. So elancing.com, so started in 1999, and then now one of the most popular websites for getting freelancing work. There was a merger between Elance and Odesk. Now, in addition to individuals who are looking for projects, Elance also has got companies who are looking for projects. So you can choose the category here. So I'm just going through a slide that tells you how you can work. So if you are a freelancer, say that I'm a freelancer, then create your profile, get hired, do the work, enjoy your payment protection, and then advance. Right, getting started. So register your account, select a membership plan. Now Elance offers different membership plans, and there are different sites offering different plans, or then they offer a revenue sharing model. So build your portfolio, start bidding, use a message board to communicate with clients, and so on. So create your profile, find your jobs, work with your clients, right, and finally get paid. Now, the basic membership of Elance is for free, as you can see here. But then you also have got an individual membership, which is $10 per month. And so you can see what is included in the basic membership and individual and so on. So in the basic membership, the most popular type of membership, there is a complete Elance profile that you can create. And you get 40 connects per month. So which means you can submit up to 40 proposals to different clients in a month. And after that, you may have to buy those connects. So you may say that if I want to submit more proposals, you can go ahead and buy those connects and then submit more. Or then you can go to individual membership. So here, in addition to the basic membership, it gives you additional connects. So you can quote for more proposals here, and there the charges are going to be $10 per month. You can even register on Elance if you have got a small company, that is, if you have got a team of people working with you, and it provides you more number of connects. So you get 80 connects per month, and here it's going to be $20 per month. Now, let me mention that this is just a summary. So I'm not really giving you exhaustive input. So you'll probably have to go and check this out by yourself. So I can even have a large company membership. So where I'm going to get many more facilities like profile keywords, I get many more connects, I get storage space available for storing files, but then the fees that I am paying are also more. So I get many more number of things here. So you can choose project categories. So within the writing, you have got web content writer, technical writer. I think we just looked at this particular interface. There, you also have got translation jobs there, and many others. So here is how Elan's profile may look like. And yes, these are hourly rates. So Samir, and your question is, are those the hourly rates? Yes. So project cycle, search for projects, bid for projects, win a project. So there could be some negotiation there, work on a project, deliver the project, get paid for the work done, get the feedback from the customer. You can also leave feedback for the customer. So based on that, some other freelancer like you may be able to rate that customer. There could be customers who are cheating vendors, and because of feedback that you are also allowed to provide as a vendor, I think those chances get minimized here. So in the long term, only a serious vendor and only a serious customer will continue to benefit. So get the payment from Elance. So the customer pays Elance and then Elance pays you. So how do you search for projects? I think we looked at this. So go to the categories and then search for jobs, and you can see it. So let me see if we can quickly go back and do this. So let's say find work and go for projects. No, I think it's just assuming that I'm a buyer. So if you go in as a vendor, you'll be able to see that interface. Let me not spend more time on this, but it is. I think right now it thinks that I'm just a buyer. So it's just showing me the resources that are available or the profiles that are available. So I can also go there and say that I want to give so and so project, and then I can even give some price there. So for example, you can see that I want to give it as a fixed price, and my estimate is this will be less than $500, right? So I can do that. So all those things are possible. So how do I withdraw my payment? So there are several options for you to get your payments. So it can be done in many steps. So number one, when you create your Elance account, you are creating, you are creating an account for you for money also. So once that money has been credited by the customer to Elance, Elance will credit it to your account. Now you will need to go to your account and then withdraw the money, right? So there are multiple options available there. So I'll leave it to you to go ahead and try this out. I think having a paid account is probably the best. So there are a number of questions about Elance, and I think I already have the answers to these questions. So any one of you wants to take a look at those question answers, you can send me a mail. I can send you the answers to all these questions. So various questions. Is it suitable for freelancer, for me as freelancer? Is it must to create a portfolio? What hourly rate should I quote? And so on and so forth. So I have documented all that. I'll not get into all that because the focus of today's session is more to talk about the sites. So there are a number of sites like this, as I mentioned. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a summary or a comparison table that I have made. So I have made a comparison of the various sites available. So I mentioned about 5 sites. Now, needless to say, there are many more than 5 sites there. and you can look at the other sites also. So here you can see the various points that I have put. Now, wherever information was not easily available, I have left that blank. So year in which it is established. So Elance is the oldest, established in 99. Freelancer was 2009, and Truelancer was 2014, just last year, and so on. So average number of contracts per job. So Odesk was a leader with only 33 contractors per job. Total freelancing job categories. So in Elance, you have got 15 or more than 15 job categories. In Freelancer, you have got about 11. In iWriter, there is only one category called as writing. Registration fees to register on all these sites. So there are no fees on these sites. So you can just register for free. Some of these sites may charge you some percentage of the project value. So if let's say you are quoting $100 for a project, some percentage of that may be charged by the site. But then the site is also giving you the marketplace where your profile is there. They are also getting the customers to your doorstep. So I think it's worthwhile, because the biggest thing in freelancing, as per me, is selling your services. And a lot of people lack they lack the selling skills, and that's why I think this becomes a very good option. So some of them offer some sort of payment security. So they'll say that okay, your payment is secured, and they guarantee that if there are any debates, they'll play some role in resolving that. As I've mentioned earlier, there are online chats available, and the chat session gets stored as a proof. And then if the customer is not ready to pay, in spite of the fact that it should be the work is done properly and the payment has to be made, then the customer also gets some negative ratings. So hourly jobs facilities are available, ongoing job facilities are available. There are many freelancing options available. So my entire presentation for today, as it is, can be used for something else. So my presentation today is, I think, not so much about writing as it is about freelancing. So even for people who are into website design, programming, and so many other things, will find this presentation useful. So whether it is expensive, so I have put some comparison here also. So Elance, being the most popular one, is also the most expensive one. There is a profile builder available, and you can go ahead and create your profile. Now, in fact, there is a test facility also available. So there is a skill test facility available on these two sites. So if you take the test, they can rate you on the basis of that, and then your customer can say that okay, this is this person's profile, and then Elance has already tested him, so I know that this person has gone through that test. Now, the country of establishment. So Elance is established in US, Freelancer in Australia, Truelancer and Work and Hire are India based. And about writer.com, iWriter.com, I was not about to get that information. I couldn't get my hands on that information easily. Membership, so various membership patterns are available. Maximum bids allowed, so unlimited except in case of free membership. So for paid memberships, you get many more. Now with freelancer, you'll get 100 bids per month, or then free of charge quote for 20 proposals, and then after that you'll probably need to pay. Correct? So you'll need to purchase extra connects, or then you'll have to pay some percentage as commission. So as you can see that Elance may take something like 8-9% of the contract amount as commission, whereas freelancer may just take 3% and so on. So you'll need to complete this study yourself really very carefully, and then get into that. But if you are going to register, in any case, I would recommend that you register on at least 3 sites. So the basic registration facility is free for I think all of them. So you can register for at least 3 of them. Yeah. All right. So let's go back to our presentation here. So I'm back to my presentation. So I think last two slides now. So freelancing webinar, I think I already mentioned about this, but let me repeat it once again for the benefit of those who have joined late, that I have already conducted many webinars related to this particular presentation. The most notable being these three. One is the freelancing webinar, second is how to build your portfolio, third is how to build your website. And I have got the recordings of all these webinars available on my YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and search for Technowrites channel, I think you'll be able to see all these recordings. The portfolio and the website webinars, I have actually re-recorded them to optimize their size, and they are about 25 minutes of video each one of them. And the freelancing webinar, which talks about types of companies, what type of documents are required, what is the Shop Act, how do you freelance, what are challenges related to freelancing, and so on. So this is slightly a bigger session, and I think this is a typo here. It's not 25 minutes, this should be around 60 minutes, right? So at least about 2 hours of videos for you to watch if you like this particular presentation, and many of your questions will be answered as you watch those videos. Now, if you are our student and I see the list of participants here, so I know that at least 60% of you are already our students. So all the Technowrites students get an access to what we call as Technowrites freelancing roadmap. And if you are our past student, then I think you can ask us, write us a mail and ask us how we can send this to you. So the freelancing roadmap has a lot of information, including these points that I mentioned earlier, that is including the portfolio, the website. I think we have got a video on how you can prepare a quotation, how you can prepare an invoice. So a lot of more material is available to Technowright students. And even if you are our ID student, instructional design student, or even if you are our technical writing student, these roadmaps are available or made available to you, will be made available to you. So you just have to contact me or the tech support, and will help you get get those updates for you. Now we also have a separate freelancing course. So if you are really thinking about going ahead and becoming a freelancer, so the course involves everything that I have said till now, but then it also has got a lot more information. For example, it has got a template for preparing a quote. It has got a template for preparing an invoice. It has got templates of a lot of other legal documents like non-disclosure agreement and so on and so forth. Now, if you decide to go to a lawyer to buy any one of that, I think the lawyer will charge you at least 10 or 12,000 per contract. But then all this comes as a part of our freelancing course, and it has got some assignments and faculty interactions also. So anybody who wants to join that course can also get in touch with me. All right, so question answers, and I'm going to go to the beginning of this chat and I'm going to start answering questions from there. So what type of skill sets are required to work as a freelancer? Well, first of all, you will need to have domain expertise. And I think this question has come from Yashwant. So Yashwant, if you want to work as a freelancer, so let's say if you are going to work as a freelance technical writer, then you need to have those technical writing expertise. If you are going to work as a web developer, so you'll have to have web development skills and so on and so forth. But in addition to having those skills, I think you need some amount of business skills also. So as I mentioned, you'll need to know how to contact a customer, how to get work done, how to get the payments, how to make a presentation, how to submit a quotation. You need to have some amount of understanding of legalities. So for example, perhaps you'll need to understand that there are some taxes that you'll need to pay. There are some taxes that you'll need to pay to the government. There are some taxes you'll need to charge to the customers, and so on and so forth. So some amount of understanding is required. Now, having mentioned that, I think if you go through the freelancing video, I've talked about it in detail. If my understanding is right now, from 1st of June, the service tax will be 14%. So I believe that our services are chargeable, taxable. So there should be a service tax of 14%. But then talk to an accountant and then see what type of company you are going to register, because a lot depends on that as well. So I'm just giving you a pointer, but then I would encourage you to go ahead and get more information about this. All right. And what is the next question that I see here? So are the charges mentioned, or are these hourly charges? Yes. So I think, as I mentioned, you can mention hourly charges, but then the client, while giving you a project, can also say that this is a fixed cost project. It's not hourly project. These sites are mostly providing job across the globe. Is there any site that typically provides India jobs or Pune-based jobs? At least I don't know whether there are any sites dedicated to Pune-based jobs. Many of these sites have got their India version. So instead of truelance.com, you probably have truelance.in. So many of these sites will give you India-based projects. But then at the time of searching, you can decide that you are going to quote only for India-based projects. So that's entirely up to you. And my suggestion to you, Prachi, is going to be that don't look at only India-based projects for simply for two reasons. Number one, your costs or your hourly rates will seem more feasible for a client outside India. So when he compares your hourly rates in dollars with those of writers in other countries, you'll probably seem to be more cost effective. So if I was in your place, I would not have said that I want to work only for Pune-based or India-based clients. What, according to you, is good? Having a paid account on Elance or a free account? I think it is best to have a paid account, but then I would recommend that you should probably mature to a paid account slowly. So don't go ahead and start with a paid account. I would suggest that you work with a free account for some time, because a free account still gives you the same facility of creating a portfolio and so on and so forth. So once you are sure, once you have started dealing, once you know, you understand their business and how they work and so on, then maybe you can go ahead and sort of graduate to a paid account. So start a paid account after some time. Don't start it immediately. So does giving the website skill test very important? So is giving the skill test very important? I think it's good. I think you should definitely give the test, because it sort of creates a positive impression about you in the client's mind. And I think if you have the skill sets, there shouldn't be anything that is stopping you from giving the test. Could you please explain more about white papers? So I actually have a separate webinar on white papers, and fortunately, the entire recording of that webinar is available. So this question has come from Madhuri. Madhuri, I would recommend you to go to the YouTube channel. So go to YouTube, search for Technowrites, and then search for white paper. You'll see the entire presentation there. So the entire video is there, and there are lots and lots of links that I have given in my white paper session. So I think there are at least 8 or 10 good links that I have provided. So they are all available there as well. Scope for fresher technical writer as a freelancer. Well, if you have the skills and if you have confidence, there is nothing stopping you from freelancing. So as many of you would know, I started working as a technical writer as a freelancer. So before I started working as a technical writer, I did not have any experience in technical writing. Neither I had any experience in freelancing. So I actually started as a freelancer, and I started as a freelance technical writer, a fresh technical writer. So it's very much possible. So if you have the skill sets, but then initially maybe go in for smaller projects where you have much more confidence that you'll be able to deliver. And once you sort of get more confidence, because there is nothing like building your own portfolio, having some testimonials, because for bigger projects, people are going to ask for it. What are the tools we need to have installed in our PC? So to do freelancing, you can have multiple tools, and I think if you can send me a mail, I can send you some of the links. So there are literally something like 40 or 50 tools that you can have on your site. Now let me see if I can get 5 minutes more after this presentation. I'll show you some of them. So does the course you offer in technical writing help in developing domain knowledge? If not, how does this course help? Well, we have a course that talks about technical writing, and many of the exercises during the course are focused on some domain. So for example, we have got a exercise that talks about what questions would you ask for an engineering product? Or we have an exercise that talks about what questions will you ask for a software product. You definitely will not be born with any domain knowledge, so you'll need to develop that. Neither it's possible that you have domain knowledge of all possible domains in which you are going to get a writing opportunity. So we actually teach the process of systematically gathering the domain knowledge. So we have got information collections, audience analysis, concept mapping, brainstorming. So whole lot of that is covered in our course. And I think those who have done our course here will vouch for that. So yes, it's systematically done and it's available. How to get the first job if you do not have any experience? So I think this question has come from Mansi. Well, if you are our student, you should be on our mailing list, and our mailing list should keep on posting you many jobs. So I think in last 20 days or so we must have posted at least 30 jobs. So there are many jobs available for freelancers, and sorry, for freshers. And for freelancers also, I think if you have the skill, there are people who are willing to give you work. So it's the initial risk, and it's only the question of who's going to take that initial risk. So I think if you are willing to take that, you can definitely make a beginning. Remember, it's only going to happen once, because the moment you have done even a single project, you are not a fresher anymore. And if you have done our course, and I'm sure Manasi, you have done that, is you would have done a whole lot of assignments that will, that you can show as a sample of your portfolio. Should we also do work for free initially to get testimonials and experience? Well, that's one of the things that you can do. Definitely, yes. You can also work honorarily for a lot of open source applications that are available. So there are a whole lot of open source tools available. And being open source, though people have developed them, but they don't really have good quality documentation. So maybe you can approach those people, and you can ask them how you may be able to help them as a writer. So I think that's also an opportunity. So I'm deviating a little bit from, I just had a query that if you approach a big company as a freelancer, they are not sure to hire freelancers. Either do their HR policies, we are individuals and not a company. How do we change this perspective? So, Prachi, I think that's a very specific question. I may not be able to answer it. And as you have rightly said, it will be off topic for this presentation. So maybe you can send your exact question to me. I'll try to reply to that. Any tip on getting the first freelance project? Usually very difficult to get the first one. Now, I mean, I don't know why you are using the term usually, because it seems that you are saying that you are generalizing it, which means you have tried multiple times. And you are only going to try it for the first time, because once you get the first project, then you are not a fresher anymore, right? So there are a lot of opportunities available in the market. I think even if you go to sites like Naukri and Monster, you'll see a lot of jobs being advertised there, and you can definitely approach these companies as long as you have got some samples to show them, as long as you are ready to work for them. I think and you have the skills. I think these companies will be willing to talk to you. So that's how I got break into my career, because as I told you, I neither had any experience nor I had a job to back me up. So I actually started freelancing and I actually started business all at the same time. Yeah. So I think it's definitely possible. So you will perhaps need to take that initial risk. So once again, I think a far more systematic approach could be to go in for something much more serious. So maybe a freelancing course can prepare you for that better, because within that we ask you to prepare your presentation, we ask you questions, we ask you to make your presentation, we literally cross every point that you ask. We ask you to prepare your portfolio. So a whole lot of that happens in our freelancing course. So if some of you is seriously interested, you can think about that. Now give me a second and let me see if I can open the other presentation that I mentioned. All right, so I'm showing this slide for answering that question. So somebody had asked me, how do I prepare my setup? So this is a part of our freelancing roadmap. So you may quickly want to write down the names of these tools. So Google language input will help you to work on other projects than English. So Marathi language input is available, Hindi is available, Gujarati is available, and so on. Word Web Thesaurus, there is a pro version available. There is also a free version available that you can download. OpenOffice is becoming very popular, and LibreOffice is perhaps more powerful and also becoming very popular. So you can use many of these as tools if you want to work from home. I assume you'll probably have Microsoft Office to work as well. Microsoft and Adobe both have come up with subscription based pricing. So, which means that instead of buying their tool for a lifetime cost, and then again, you know that after 1.5 or 2 years, you may have to update it, you can buy it for a limited time. So, I know that there is a MS Office setup that you can buy on a yearly basis. If you are a home or a student user, I think this could be as less as 500 rupees or not 500, 800 rupees per year. But then for professional purposes, it could be slightly more. So it could be as less as one or 2,000 rupees per year. So which probably comes down to 200 or 300 rupees per month, which I think is a fairly reasonable investment. So many of the tools are also now available on a subscription model. Now let me go to the next slide. So some more tools for you to work on. So Lix is a document processor, quite similar to LaTeX if you want to download and use it. So that's also available. Viper is used for plagiarism checking, and Viper is a free tool. There is also a paid version, a premium version available. Safe House Explorer for file protection and encryption. So there is a free as well as a premium version available. And if you want many more tools, then I suggest you go to this site called as portableapps.com, and you can literally get hundreds of tools there. All of them are free and all of them are portable, which means that you may be able to install them simply on a pen drive, and they'll be able to work from the pen drive. Now, needless to say, they'll also work from hard disks. But then if you have installed them on a pen drive, if you connect that pen drive to another computer, you can start working from there. It's as simple as that. So pzip can be used for zipping, unzipping files, creating self-extracting archives, and so on. PDF TK Builder is used for working with PDF files. So there are a lot of tools that we know are available that can generate a PDF file, but then many of these tools are not able to protect those PDF files. So using PDF TK Builder, you can protect any PDF file. SeaMonkey is one of the portable browsers that I use. It's very handy, and a whole lot of them. I mean, there are literally hundreds of tools available there. So if you have to work from home, I think you'll perhaps need to have this kind of preparation. So this is one good tool, Evernote, and it's a cloud-based tool that's available. So you can have a Evernote installation on your computer. You can have it on your tablet, you can have it on your mobile, and so on. And any information that you put in your notes can be available across these devices. So using Evernote, I think you can take notes, you can store files, web pages, photos, voice memos, and so on and so forth. All right, so that brings me to the end of this session. I think we began at 11:30 and we are going to end at 12:40. So it was a pleasure interacting with all of you. And I think you already know my email ID, but let me still go ahead and give it to you. So my email ID is mac@technowrites.com. So you can send me a mail and I can send you some information that you may find useful. You can also refer to the videos that I mentioned during my session. Remember, freelancing can develop your personality in a way that nothing else can. So it's truly a challenge, but then you as an individual will develop a lot if you work as a freelancer. You can also follow me on Twitter. So my Twitter handle is @MacPandit. So thank you very much. You can obviously give me a feedback through the chat session, and I see it coming here. And then you can also drop me a line about it. So it's a pleasure to be conducting today's session, and it's wonderful to have all of you join us today. We had 30 participants for today's session. Thanks a lot.